Two Cowboys fans in San Antonio had a disagreement about the game, so they stabbed each other. What's going on, folks? This is Coach Marcus for Pro Fan Talk. Just looking at some of the news this morning. Good game last night. Chargers and the Cowboys. Cowboys got it together. Micah Parsons came through and in. The Chargers pretty much had him contained and ran at him and pretty much took him out of the game as making impact plays. And no sooner than they mentioned that on the broadcast, Micah Parsons gets a critical sack. It was a good game back and forth, a little bit sloppy on the Chargers' part. It seemed to me like the Chargers couldn't get it together in the second half, and they had plenty of opportunities in the red zone and just couldn't convert. But I came across this story this morning because this was trending number one. But it's funny, it was trending number one for the Dallas Cowboys. But when you look at the story, and it's two men in San Antonio, not even in Dallas. Two men stab each other during altercation over noise during the Cowboys football game. These guys got into it about making too much noise and ended up stabbing each other. Can't make this stuff up, man. Can't make it up. But it's interesting. As much flack as we get up here in the Philadelphia area and our fans and being rough and rowdy and rude and everything that comes with that, everywhere you look, I did a video about this last year. It's a little bit unfair how much criticism we get up here in Philadelphia about our fans. And you see this kind of stuff everywhere. 49ers games, Cowboys games, Saints games, Chargers games, Patriots games, everywhere. This probably won't even make national news or anything like that. So I just thought it was interesting. It was trending, and they made a point to let you know it was two Cowboys fans. So I thought that was funny. But ultimately, good game last night. Let's switch it to some stats. Like I said, the Chargers could not get it together. Literally, it looked like they had no confidence in the red zone. Cowboys, Dak Prescott was efficient. 1 touchdown, 21 for 30, 272 yards. CD Lamb had a day, 7 for 117. And the only tutty was Brandon Cooks. And I saw that one. Rushing was pretty much held down by the Chargers defense. Chargers defense played good, man. The offense just couldn't get it together. Tony Pollard only had 15 carries for 30 yards, and that's including the one. Tony Pollard had one great run, and maybe that wasn't a run. Maybe that was a screenplay or a pass, because I know he had 6 catches for 80 yards. So on the day, Tony Pollard had over 100 yards total, so that was still a good day for him with 21 touches. So, and you know my rule. It's not about rushes. It's about touches. So whenever they get this guy the ball, he produces. He had 7 targets and 15 rushes. That's pretty efficient. So Dak had a pretty good game. He had a good game on the ground too. 7 for 40 and a touchdown. So he had a rushing touchdown last night. That was just a good play call. Yeah, the Chargers couldn't get it together. They looked out of sync. Not that Philadelphia would know about looking out of sync on offense. But yeah, Chargers, they just Justin Herbert just didn't look like he was confident in where he was delivering the ball. I saw a lot of short passes to Austin Eckler, 2 and 3 yard passes or swing and wide passes, check down type routes, where for him to get any type of sizable gain, he's going to have to make 1 or 2 people miss. And that's not really what you want. You want to be able to get your running back the ball in space, past the line of scrimmage. If it's a pass, if it's a run, you let him do what he's got to do. He had 14 for 27 yards. So as far as the rushing goes, both teams had him bottled up, had their running backs bottled up. Keenan Allen had a pretty good game, 7 for 85 in a TD. Palmer had a decent game, 4 for 60. So he had opportunities. Their play calling in the red zone was just not good. Just not good. And like I said, Chargers defense played pretty well last night. Their offense didn't do diddly squat. And for to have for the Chargers defense to have the Cowboys bottled up like that most of the game, but you know what? CD Lamb came through. I believe it was a big catch towards the end of the game. They got him in field position, and they couldn't do nothing with that. Chargers had plenty of opportunities to win. They couldn't convert. They couldn't get over that hump, man. They just didn't look right. I know Justin Herbert is messing with that on his offhand, his non-throwing hand, he's got that fractured finger. It looks like a fractured ring finger, which is weird. Looked like just like he wasn't comfortable. He wasn't getting the ball out on time, and he had a couple open guys that he underthrew. I did notice that. So you still got to play the game. You still got to show up. So Cowboys go to 4-2, and after our crazy weekend, San Francisco loses, the Eagles lose. Both kind of ugly losses in that regard. I still think it's kind of up in the air who the best team in the NFC is right now. Some people would throw their money on Detroit, and I couldn't argue with them right now. Detroit is playing good football. San Francisco's still up there. Everybody's going to have a bad game. Everybody. Jared Goff is going to eventually have a bad game. Purdy had his bad game. Hurts had his bad game. Last night, Justin Herbert didn't look particularly great. Jalen Hurts to have a better game next week and keep it moving. Same thing with Brock Purdy. Although Brock Purdy's dealing with some nasty injuries out there in San Francisco with Debo being out and CMC and one of their offensive linemen got hurt. I don't know what the extent of his injury is. I know he got his ankle twisted. So same thing, very similar to what happened with Lane Johnson. Lane Johnson's supposed to come back, and this dude came back in the game, so I think he'll be all right. But two of their most important skill positions with Debo and CMC are out, and both of those guys went to the locker room. That's going to put the pressure on Brock Purdy because he doesn't have two of his main weapons, so he's going to have to step it up as a quarterback, and it's going to be Purdy, Kittles, and Ayuk. We'll see what he can do. Shanahan's going to have a test without those guys. So, good game last night. I'll get into some of the other stuff around the league a little bit later on. But just a good game last night. Good game by Dak. Justin Herbert looked a little suspect. And that Chargers offense definitely looked a little suspect. So, I got to check out my boy, one of my friends on Twitter, talk to him. Because, they had an opportunity to win that game and they couldn't convert. So, all right. If you like the content, please subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I will see you guys in the next play. Peace.